Hosted by you/feed up so beat up. I'm a woman in my 30s, and my stylist is in their 40s. I got my hair cut today at a stylist I've been seeing for about 9 months now. I think this was my 6th appointment with them. I usually go in for a trim or style maintenance. Today, however, I went from having long hair, down to my lower back, to an A-line bob. Since I started seeing this stylist, I've typically just gotten trims or maintenance cuts. This time, it was a dramatic length adjustment, so they took a picture of the cut hair on the floor to post on their social media, intending to add before and after photos too. That's all totally fine and normal. They grabbed a broom, swept up the hair, and placed the dustpan on the counter for a bit. Again, normal. Then, they grabbed the broom and dustpan and headed to the back of the shop. They were gone for a few minutes, no big deal. After that, they went outside for a smoke break. But here's where it gets weird. The bathroom is in the back of the shop too. I needed to use it, so I headed to the back. On the way in, I didn't notice anything unusual. I used the bathroom and started to head back out, but then I noticed my name on a small, clear tote sitting on a table. It had no lid, and it contained my hair. At first, I didn't think much of it. But when I looked closer, I realized it wasn't just today's discarded hair. It looked like it had hair from at least a few of my previous trim sessions, mixed with potpourri? And maybe a little sand or something? There were also printed pictures of the cut hair with dates on them. The printer was sitting right next to the tote, and today's discarded hair photo was still in the tray. I didn't see any other containers like this when I looked around. It was freaking weird. I took a picture with my phone. Honestly, I didn't know what to think or do, so I just went back out to the salon. When the stylist came back in, I mentioned that I'd gone to the restroom, and they seemed to freak out a little but didn't say anything about it. I didn't know how to handle the situation, so I just let them finish styling my hair, paid, and left. As a socially anxious introvert, this was my nightmare. I got home, and the more I looked at the picture I'd taken, the more unsettled I felt. An hour ago, I texted the stylist, sent the picture, and asked them to remove the weird box. I also asked for an explanation. Here's what I said. Hey, I saw this and didn't know what to make of it. Can you help me understand what this is and why you have it? I'm not comfortable with you keeping this and request that you please discard the contents. Also, even though I love my cut, I believe it's best if I find a different stylist. They haven't responded. Lol, WTF? Update 1 week later. It's been about a week, and with the holiday, I've been all over the place, but I ended up going to law enforcement to make a report last Monday. I'll likely end up going back if this person keeps contacting me like they have been. Here's a little timeline. Last Saturday, got a haircut and discovered the weird tub full of my hair, texted the stylist about the weird tub and said I'd be finding a new stylist. The hairstylist didn't respond. This is where I left off in the last post. A lot has happened since then. Sunday, I woke up to a bunch of texts from the stylist. It woke me up because, even though I have Do Not Disturb on my phone, I have a setting that overrides it if there are repeated contact attempts, more than 3, in case of emergencies. Here's what I got, copied and pasted. 3:49 a.m. I don't recommend going to a different stylist because of this. It's not a big deal. Small towns and people talk, and you may not find anyone that will take you after this, so I'd reconsider. I don't like threats. 3:51 a.m. So I have your biological material in? It's my property now. I can do what I want with it. I kept it because I can, and it means a lot to me. 3:54 a.m. Why you send the pic? I know what it looks like, it's mine. 4 a.m. You need to respond to me because I think it's a misunderstanding about what this is. It's no big deal, and you saying you are switching stylists has me triggered. I do good work, you said so. 4:04 a.m. I also charge a $350 client separation fee, so yeah, you can't just say you're switching stylists with no consequences, and I know you said you already tried a few people before me. There are not many beauty people in the area. 4:11 a.m. Asking for an explanation for a stylist having hair in a salon is crazy. Where else would you find hair at? I didn't do nothing wrong, but I will get rid of it if you are gonna cry about it, but only if you say you won't be switching to anyone else for your hair care. You mean a lot as a client and always tip well, and I do good work, so it doesn't make sense, and you know that, so maybe don't threaten someone who does your hair or hurt their heart by making accusatory statements. I didn't respond to any of those that morning because it was so insane to me. I needed to process things fully before deciding how to deal with it, so I just didn't respond. Sunday afternoon, I started getting phone calls. This person called me 14 times that afternoon. About every other call, they left a voicemail. Most of the voicemails just said, "Call me back," or "Text me back," but 2 of them were unhinged. I'll paraphrase, but the gist of the first one was, Sounds like they're crying. Call me back. I'm getting scared you won't come back to me for your hair for real. I just like how your hair feels. That's why I kept it. Call me. The second unhinged message was left late Sunday night at 11:38 p.m. It said, I got rid of it except for one lock. I found out I like watching your hair burn more than I like keeping it. I didn't respond to any of those messages, calls, or texts. The whole thing freaked me out. By that time, I decided I was taking Monday off work to go to the police. Even if they couldn't do anything, I wanted a filed report of the weirdness. I woke up Monday to an email from the stylist with an invoice of $375 for a client breach of contract fee as the chargeable line item, again, copy and pasting here. The email body was just, for being a BTCH. It was sent from their business email too, so they're really doing everything they can to ruin themselves. Even if I had a contract with this person, which I don't, the original amount was $350. They can't even get their extortion fees right. I emailed them back, stating that we had no contract and to cease all further communication with me from this point forward. I got ready and started heading to the police station around 9:45 Monday morning. I live in a rural area, so there are portions of my drive to and from our main town that don't have cell reception. When I finally got to town, I had 4 voicemails. I knew immediately who they were from. I talked to one of the officers on staff. They took my statement, a copy of the email, and asked me to forward all the texts and screenshots of the number of calls. They said, at the least, the calls and texts could be considered menacing and harassment. But the voicemail where they mentioned how they liked burning my hair was potentially concerning. The officer advised me to contact a legal representative in case this person tries to take the bogus invoice to civil court. They also said I'm welcome to change my number, but having piling evidence if they continue to contact me after I explicitly told them not to in the email would only help me. I reached out to a lawyer Tuesday and left a detailed message regarding the situation. They're apparently out of the office until next Wednesday for the holiday, so we'll see if they have any advice. Since then, I've received many texts and calls from the stylist. They even sent a happy Thanksgiving text on Thursday morning. Regardless, they are giving me a lot of evidentiary material to work with, but I'm so unsettled. I can't wait to hear from the lawyer this week. Second update 1 week later. Firstly, I am okay and safe for now. The person has continued to contact me regularly via phone and email. I do have personal protection that I'm comfortable with and can wield accurately. However, I'm nearly certain this person does not know where I live, so I don't anticipate any type of confrontation here. Our house and property have complete camera coverage as well. If anyone or anything shows up, we're well aware. I will be posting a more in-depth update, including more texts and emails up to this point and details regarding a specific incident that happened on Friday, on Tuesday. I have an appointment to speak with another officer then to discuss the potential for criminal action and legal consequences for the stylist as a result. Thank you all for your concern and the validation that this is absolutely insane. I'll leave you with a text from this past week, one I think you'll all enjoy. Maybe use as a model of how not to make friends. Once again copied/pasted. 5:12 a.m. December 4th, 2024. Don't never say never. You're never coming back, don't make me laugh. I don't want you back. You can beg me though, might help. Third update 4 days later. Sorry for the delay. I think I mentioned before that I'm a processor, so it takes me a while to work through my thoughts and feelings on things. This situation and update may not be as satisfying as many had hoped, but here it goes. I met with law enforcement again this past Tuesday. My husband and I drove over early that morning because I was also meeting with the lawyer I'm working with. Aside from the near constant texts, calls, and emails, I wanted to pursue legal action for a specific issue. Allegedly, the stylist had tried to have my credit card canceled. Apparently, they used the last 4 digits of my card, called the customer service line for the card, and attempted to cancel it. I got a call from the fraud department shortly after this person made the attempt. They were trying to verify if I actually wanted to close my account and dissolve my credit line with them. To be clear, the stylist was not successful in their alleged attempt. They couldn't provide the basic information needed for such actions, like my actual last name, it's unusual, and they gave a name that was almost similar, date of birth, address, etc. Apparently, they thought they could accomplish this with just my name, phone number, and the last 4 digits of the card number. I didn't cancel the card but did request a new one for obvious reasons. I had no clue why they would want to cancel my card. To inconvenience me? Yep, that's exactly why, allegedly. When I spoke with the credit card company, they agreed to send over the recording of the person who called, as well as the phone number the call originated from, as long as the request came from law enforcement with a warrant. They gave me a phone number and reference number for the police to reach out to directly. The officer began working on that immediately, so that is in progress. I went to my phone company over the weekend. I had my phone number transferred to an old phone so I could still receive calls and text there, but got a new phone number for my actual phone. The old phone and phone number have been turned over to the officer assigned to my case. They did go and speak with this person yesterday. Apparently, they are horrified that I went to the police and had no idea any of their actions could be chargeable offenses. According to the officer, there have been no further communications via text or call since their visit, and I haven't received any other emails. A temporary protection and no contact order has been issued against them until the first court date. I have also reached out to the State Board of Licensing with all this information and my complaints. All I can say is that they are investigating. Outside of that, I'm limited on what other information I can share since a legal process against this person has officially begun. We're just waiting to see how this all plays out now. It's been a long few weeks. I'm hoping for the best here. I'm already so relieved to no longer be getting calls, texts, or emails constantly. Thank you for all the concern, advice, and good wishes. This was meant to be an outlet for me to vent and process, and I'm so grateful that you have allowed me to do that with a huge amount of support you've given.